Okay. And spotlight this video. There we go. All right. So, as always, let's start by finding the space. So take a moment, find a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like in your body today, and knowing that that changes from day to day. So sometimes it's more comfortable to sit without being lifted. Sometimes it's more comfortable to sit with your legs folded, sometimes not. Just notice and honor where your body is today. So whatever form of stillness you find, go ahead and settle for a moment. Bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. And begin to cultivate some nice, deep breaths, really breathing from the center of your being, from your belly. And as you breathe, begin to feel some little movements going along with that breath. So on your inhale, roll your spine out nice and long, sit tall on the mat. Exhale to soften. Inhaling, lengthening, expanding. And exhale to soften. On your next exhale, release your hands down by your sides, and on your inhale, sweep your fingertips out to the sides, all the way up to the sky. Exhale your hands down through heart center, and let's feel that again, opening and expanding. And exhale, and just continue to follow this pattern on your breath, finding some sun breaths. And as you breathe, as you move, begin to notice where it would feel good to linger or to stretch it out, just beginning to tune into your body. Notice where all those little crunchy places are. And feel empowered to change this pattern, this movement meditation, to fit whatever you need. And then begin to make your way back to seated. Draw your hands once more to heart center. Take a moment right here to set your intention for your practice this morning. And then simply release your hands down to the mat. Sweep them forward and walk your knees around behind you. Let's find tabletop, and we're going to keep moving our spines here. So on your inhale, roll your heart forward and tip your tailbone to the sky. Exhale, coil your belly in and drop the crown of your head. Inhaling, rolling open. And exhale to coil. Now, once again, tune into your body and notice if it would feel good to stay here in cat-cow, then you do. You're also welcome to experiment with free-form movement, shifting from side to side, forward or back. And then find your way into stillness. Come back to a nice stable tabletop. Draw your knees a little bit closer together under your hips so that they're centered. On your inhale, extend your right leg long and you lower your toe down to the mat or to the floor and begin to press into your right heel to stretch out the back of your right leg. And remember, of course, you always have options, right? So you can sustain this stretch. You can also find a slow, gentle flow, rolling into and out of that stretch. And then let's switch it out. Lower that right knee down. Extend your left leg long. Lower your toe. And begin to press into your heel. And again, you have choices, right? So sustaining that stretch or finding that slow wave pattern flow. And lower that left knee down. Now let's shift back again to take a seat. And I'd like you to find a comfortable seat, something that'll work for a couple minutes. We're going to do some shoulder and neck opening here. So find whatever feels good in your body. Remember that that can be sitting on a cushion or on a block. And let's start with some neck rolls. So drop your chin to your chest and let's roll over to one side. Back to center and over to the other. Just tracing a nice slow circle. And as you do, notice if there are any particular areas where it would feel really good to linger, right? You can find a spot and then just stay there, stretching it out before continuing to move. And then find your way back to center. Draw your chin to be parallel with the earth. Roll your shoulders all the way up to your ears, all the way back and down. And let's feel that again. Huge shoulder circles here, remembering to squeeze them together at the back. And then let's roll the other direction. So rolling backwards, up, and rounding as we go forward. Scrunch your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And on an exhale, roll them all the way back and down, sitting nice and tall on the mat. And let's keep working this line of the spine. So from here, we'll begin moving our rib cage. Shift your ribs all the way over to your right side. Shifting forward, over to the left, back, and then connecting those points. So finding some Kundalini circles. And then let's roll in the other direction, shifting over to the right and rolling back. And come back to stillness at the center. So from here, we're going to find our way all the way up to standing. So go ahead and make your way up and then set up at the top of your mat for Tadasana. I'm going to adjust my camera real quick. So for our first mountain pose, as always, let's take a moment to let that be a really conscious space. So root your feet, feel yourself connecting down to the earth. Remember, you can lift your toes and then set them back down again. Begin to draw up on the inner arches of your feet. Feel your legs nice and strong. Bring your hands to your belly and give your belly some love. Just finding a nice little soothing massage right here. Place your hands over that little triangle of muscles right beneath your navel and draw them in and up. Lengthen your tailbone. Shoulders roll back and down. Palms face forward. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, pour all the way forward. Nice, easy forward fold. Let's linger right here for a moment. Remember, you can always support your fold with a block if that would feel good. Root your palms, relax the crown of your head, or just dangle, right? If it would feel good to rock from side to side a little bit, feel welcome to do so. And then come to stillness at the center. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips to your blocks or onto the mat. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge, and let's lower that right knee all the way down to the mat. Take a moment to set up a nice safe lunge. You want your left ankle to be below your left knee so that we have a nice straight line here, just protecting that kneecap. Set up your blocks if that helps you feel a little bit more supported here. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift your hips back. Let your left leg start to lengthen. Inhaling, shifting forward, bend that left knee and sink your right hip toward the mat. Exhaling, shifting back. Inhaling, shifting forward. And just flowing from side to side. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Find your knees beneath your hips again. You can set those blocks to the side, set up your tabletop, and let's move our spines again. We're just warming up. Inhale, rolling open. Exhaling to coil, and yogi's choice right here. You can stay in cat-cow or find free form sahaja movement. Maybe experimenting with making some C shapes with your spine. Just stretching everything out. Come back to a neutral spine in tabletop. Walk your hands, one hand span forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. We want to set up half plank here. So in half plank, knees, hips, and shoulders are in one long line, and we want to keep our core engaged. So rather than slumping through the midsection, dial those muscles in. Bend your elbows and float your way all the way down to the mat. Nice and controlled. Walk your toes back, create space. You can bring your fingertips wide. They can come off the mat. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other. Free your spine. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, find your tabletop. Or if you have one in your practice, you're also welcome to take downward facing dog here. Wherever you've landed, find movement. So that might be cat-cow or freeform spinal movement. If you're in downward facing dog, walk out your dog. Bend one knee and then the other. Remember that you can drop one hip and then the other. Get a nice side stretch in. And then wherever you are, come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. If your back knee is lifted, go ahead and lower it. And we'll set up that same safe lunge on the right side. So grab your blocks if you are using them. Make sure your right knee is directly over your right ankle. Root your hands, melt that left hip toward the earth. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, draw your hips back. Let that right leg start to stretch out. Inhaling forward to lunge. And exhale, shift it back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under, lift that back knee. Look forward and step together and fold. Soften. Find a little movement here if that would feel good, or just feel a nice stationary forward fold, whatever works in your body. Come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale. Rise and open. Exhale. Hands to heart center. So let's set up Tadasana one more time. If we moved, no big deal. Just reset and then wake your body up. Remember that strength rises from the earth. So we draw energy up. So strong legs, strong belly, long tailbone, open heart. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Now this time, we're going to halfway rise on the inhale. So your hands will come to your shins or your thighs. We're going to roll our hearts forward and press our tailbone away. Exhale to fold. Inhaling, halfway rise. Press your hips away. Exhale one more time, halfway rise. Try to keep your collarbones rolled back and down. We're going for a very flat back here, like we could balance something on it. And then exhale, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge and lower that left knee down. So we'll take our stretch a little deeper this time. We want to make sure we still have that nice strong lunge. But this time as we exhale to shift back, those right toes can rise, stretching out the back of the right leg a little more. Inhale forward to lunge, melt your left hip. And exhale, shifting back. And just follow your breath. Remember, you can move at the same time as me or on your own. It just depends on what your breath is doing this morning. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge, tabletop, knees beneath the hips. Finding your nice safe tabletop, walk your hands, one hand span forward, shoulders over your wrists. So if you're feeling ambitious today, you are welcome to turn your toes under and lift your back knees for full plank. So staying strong, staying engaged through the belly, we want to slowly lower our bodies to the earth. So try to let that descent take plenty of time, and if it gets to be too much, just touch down. Walk your toes back once you arrive. Bring your fingertips wide. Roll one shoulder and then the other. And return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. Remember, multi-step movements are fine here so that we can get that left ankle directly beneath the knee. Grab your blocks if you were using them. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. This time, left toes rise. Inhale forward to lunge. Melt your right hip. And exhale, shifting back, left toes rising. Inhaling forward. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your right toes under, lift your back knee, look forward, and step together. Nice, easy forward fold here. As always, try to consciously relax the back of your neck. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Check in with your Tadasana. Reset if you need to. On your inhale, find the rise. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale to fold. 2 more times, halfway. And on this exhale, both hands come down to the blocks or to the mat. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Lower that right knee down. This time we're going to walk our hands up our right knee. Now, if you notice that this place is a little precarious for you, feel free to take a block and place it by your right hip so that your right hand can just touch down and help you balance if you need it. So let's find a little pulse to help open that right hip. On your inhale, lift up and out. Exhale, sink deeply into your left knee. Melt that right hip. Inhaling to lift. And exhale. We'll just pulse right here. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat or to the blocks. Knees together. Find your tabletop and then walk your hands one handspan forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists, half plank, or if you're feeling ambitious, full plank is an option right here. With control, let's find our way down to the mat, nice and slowly. Once you've touched down, walk your toes back, fingertips are wide. Roll it out, creative cobra. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop or downward facing dog. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Walk your hands up your right knee. So just like the other side, if you feel unstable here, place a block by your left hip so you can always put a hand there to help you stay lifted. On your inhale, lift up and out. Exhale, sink deeply into your right knee, melt that left hip. Inhale. On this next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your left toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. Surrender, fold over your legs. Find movement if that would feel good. And come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time through, find your Tadasana one more time. On your inhale, find the rise. Exhale to fold. Now this time, we're going to bring our hands either onto a block at the top of the mat or onto the mat. From here, walk your hands over to your left-hand side. Turn your heart so that it's over that block or over your fingertips and press your right hip away. You'll feel a nice deep stretch all along the side of the right backside of your back. You might feel it into your right leg as well, just depending on how tight you are and where those points of tension happen to be. Yo, we might just stay here. Ooh, let's feel that on the other side. Come back to center. Bring your block or your hands over to the right. Press your left hip away. And again, we're going to turn our hearts so that they are over that block. Just breathing into any places that are holding tension. And come back to center. So from here, let's bend our knees and plant our fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower your left knee down and walk your hands up. So same thing. Remember, you can always place a block for stability if you need it. We're going to add some arms this time. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, shift back, right toes rise. Your hands can touch down or sweep behind you. Inhale. Exhaling, bowing over that right leg. Inhaling to open. This sequence always feels more like a dance to me, this connection of movements. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Knees together. Find your tabletop and then walk your hands, one hand span forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. So let's do a little core challenge today. Now, depending on how your body and your shoulders are feeling, we might keep our knees down to the mat for this. On your exhale, draw your navel toward your spine. Really squeeze through your core. Inhale, reach your heart away from you. And then exhale, coiling again. Now, if you're feeling ambitious, remember you can turn your toes under. And this same pulse can be felt in full plank. You might notice your body building some heat. That's good. And then knees lifted or lowered. Chaturanga. Bring your body down to the mat, nice and strong and smooth. Walk your toes back once you've arrived. And let's bring fingertips wide again. We're focusing on loosening up the back today, so we're just going to keep going with Creative Cobra. It introduces the greatest range of motion in our shoulders. So think about drawing huge circles with each shoulder. Really go for your fullest expression here. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press it back. Find your tabletop or downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. Walk your hands up your left knee. Feel free to set a block by that right hip if you need something to touch down on. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, shift back, left toes rise. Sweep your fingertips behind you or just touch them down. Inhale to open. Exhale, shifting back. Inhaling to open. And just moving at your pace on your breath. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your right toes under, lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. And soften, bow, full lunar pause right here. You can find your elbows and dangle in ragdoll. You can just take a nice easy forward fold. What's most important is to try to breathe out any stress, any tension. Just notice where your body's carrying and let it melt. Now from your forward fold, bring your hands to your ankles. Bend your knees enough that your belly is touching your thighs. So we want to feel a nice strong connection here. Now keeping that belly to thigh contact, on your next inhale, tip your tailbone a little more toward the sky. Exhale to soften, bending the knees. Inhaling, tipping that tailbone just a little bit more. And exhale to soften. This is a nice way to stretch out your hamstrings. It's pretty subtle, especially if you have tight hamstrings like I do. So the motion is not huge, but I can feel a nice deep stretch. And remember, we want to keep belly and thighs touching the entire time. And then simply float free, release your ankles, bend your knees, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. And release your hands down. Find a comfortable, stable stance on your mat with your feet parallel. So we want them facing forward. Doesn't need to be classic Tadasana, just needs to feel nice and rooted. Excuse me, on your inhale, sweep your right arm out to the side, up overhead. And we're going to reach to the right and root, sorry, we're going to reach to the left and root the edge of that right foot. Now, when we start to stretch our sides, our bodies naturally want to turn inward because it's less resistance that way. So just make sure your heart is nice and open here. Really feel that stretch all through your side waist. Come back through center. Let's feel that on that left-hand side. Left hand reaches up and over to the right, and root the edge of your left foot. And just same adjustment. Notice if you start to tip inward and just turn out your heart toward me. And release. Let's add on a little bit. Sweep that right arm out to the side, up and over. This time we're going to find our wrist with our left hand. And we're going to stretch it out, adding just a little bit more traction, but keeping the alignment, right? Heart is nice and open. We're rooting the edge of that right foot, really feeling a nice stretch. If it helps, think of it as going up and then over. So we lengthen the spine and then stretch. And back to center. Switch out your wrist so that right hand finds the left wrist, and stretch over to the right. Same adjustment, right? We keep our heart open, lift up and then over, root the edge of your left foot. Nice deep stretch right here. And come back to center, release your hands down. Let's stretch a little bit around the chest and shoulders. So what I'd like you to do is sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep them behind you and interlace. Now, before we stretch across the chest, engage your belly. So just draw your navel in. You can feel that happen a couple times. You can see it on your screen. So relaxed, engaged, relaxed, engaged. And this just helps protect our lower back. So keep this nice and strong. And then lengthen your arms and lift from behind your heart. Really get a nice stretch across your chest, melt your shoulder blades. Exhale to soften. Let's feel that again. Engage your belly, lift from behind the heart. Exhale, and one more time, lifting. And release. From here, let's step our feet nice and wide. Our feet are going to start off parallel. I'm just going to adjust my camera real quick while you get comfortable. So we're going to find a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Now, in your forward fold, if you have issues finding the floor, feel free to grab a block and place it under your hands. And let's start just by softening here. Try to relax your head and your neck. Melt down. Root your heels to help feel a stretch along the backs of your legs. And we had a request for some mid-back stretching, so let's go there. Shift your fingertips forward. You can leave them on that block or just walk them out onto the floor. Now, once you've found your point of maximum connection, so you're feeling stretched out here, root your fingertips. Tip your tailbone a little more toward the sky and try to melt your heart toward the earth. It's very subtle, but it gets a nice deep stretch right along our backs. And we're just going to breathe right here. And then walk your hands back to center. Bend your right knee, walk your hands all the way over to the right, sink into that right knee. Inhale to center and walk over to the left, bending that left knee. And we'll just flow from side to side here, a little flowing Skandasana. This is great for our lower backs and our hips, our inner thighs. It's just a nice opening stretch. Now let's come back to center, still working the back, and notice if it would feel good to give your arms a little more length to plant a block. That's totally fine. Root your left hand and peel your right arm open. So we're going to reach that right hand to the sky. Exhale, lower that right hand down. Peel open on the left side. And exhale to lower. So let's feel this a few times on each side. Peeling open. So if this is perfect, if this alternating arm vinyasa feels good, you stay right here. You're also welcome to sustain, so we can root one hand. And if you're sustaining, you can bend the elbow of your top arm and bring your hand to the outside of your hip and use that contact point to help turn your heart a little bit more toward the sky. Remember, in yoga, you're also perfectly welcome to try things and decide that they're terrible. So if you try this and you don't like it, go back to alternating arm vinyasa. If you were sustaining, let's feel that on the other side. Root the other hand, open up. And then if you'd like to add on that half bind, bend your elbow. Bring your fingertips to that opposite hip and turn your heart toward the sky. And come back to center. Now from here, let's walk our hands to frame our right foot as it faces the short side of the mat. Left foot is going to stay dialed out to the side. On your inhale, find your way up for your warrior two. Take a moment to settle into your warrior two. So we want to put a nice deep bend in that right knee. We want to feel that left leg straight with the foot out to the side, and we want to keep our hearts open to the broad side of the mat. Radiate your arms out to either side. Flip your right hand to face the sky. Inhale, sweep up and back, reverse warrior. Exhale, right hand or right elbow to that knee and reach your left arm long. Inhaling up and back. And exhale. And of course, remember that the challenge here involves keeping that right knee bent at about the same angle the whole time. That's really where we start building up nice, strong quadricep muscles. And then find your way all the way back to your Vira 2. Release your hands down, straighten that right knee. Let's feel that on the other side. So we're just going to turn our right foot to dial out. So now the feet are parallel. Turn your left foot to face the short side of the mat. Bend your left knee. Turn your heart so that it's open and radiate your arms. Okay. Flip your left hand to face the sky. Inhale, sweep up and back. Exhale, left hand or left elbow to left knee, reach your right arm long. Inhaling up and back. So we're just flowing through Dancing Warrior right here. Remember also, if you have a variation of Dancing Warrior that you really like, you're welcome to take that instead. Also, I don't know if you can hear that sound, but I think it's the recycling truck coming through. I have the windows open today because it's so beautiful. Find your way back, finding our warrior two. Release your hands down. Feet become parallel. Now, we're going to turn our toes out or our heels in, whatever feels better in your body. So our feet are now at a 45-degree angle. Bring your hands to your hips, sink into your knees, high yoga squat, high malasana. Inhaling, lifting up and out. Exhaling, sinking down. Inhaling to lift. On this next exhale, we're going to bring our right hand to our right inner thigh and lower our right shoulder down. Inhale to center, left hand, left thigh, left shoulder comes down. Inhale. We'll just shift back and forth. And come back to center, to stillness. So from here, let's make our way all the way down onto the mat. We're going to come to tabletop. Let me adjust my camera. So I have a favorite mid-back and shoulder stretch to be done in tabletop. It's a twisting stretch. So find your tabletop and then lift your right hand and wiggle the fingers. Dive your right arm all the way under your left. Lower your right shoulder down to the mat and just place your left hand by your face. So this might already be plenty, and if it is, you stay right here. If you'd like to stretch your shoulder a little more, you can begin pressing into your left hand to roll that right shoulder open a bit. And again, there are options, right? You can stay right here. You can also float that left arm to the sky. Maybe you bend that elbow and tuck your left hand behind you, turning your heart and your head a little more toward the sky. And come back to center. Let's feel that on the other side. So unpretzel. Find your way all the way up to your tabletop. And we'll dive our left arm underneath. Come all the way down to your left shoulder. Rest your right hand by your face. And again, maybe this is plenty. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you begin to press into that right hand to put a little bit more of a stretch into the left upper side of your back. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you float that right arm to the sky. Maybe you bend the elbow and tuck that hand behind you and use that contact point to turn your heart just a little bit more. And then find your way back to tabletop. So from tabletop, we'll do one more little stretch right here. So shift your weight into your right hand. We're going to take that left hand and place it in front of the right and just begin to stretch. So we're going to lean into that left side, really making a C shape with our spine. And remember, you can adjust where that left hand goes depending upon how much mobility you have along the side of your body. So maybe it feels good to have your hand in front, maybe a little more centered, maybe all the way over to the side. It just depends on your body. Come back to center. We'll feel that on the other side. So shift your weight into your left hand. The right hand comes in front of the left. Begin to lean into your right side. And again, just notice where it would feel good to put that right hand. So it might stay where it is. It might walk over. It might stay even more toward the center. Whatever feels best today. And come back to center. Take a seat. Let's set up for butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. So we want to bring the soles of our feet together in front of us. Knees are nice and open. Remember to sit back on your sits bones so that your spine is sitting forward rather than hanging on for dear life in a C shape, right? We want to feel comfortable here. And if you feel like you're clinging, just scoot your hips back a little bit more so you can sit forward. Lengthen your spine, get nice and tall. On your exhale, begin to hinge from your hips. So we want to move from the hip joints. So the spine stays fairly flat, fairly straight. Once you find your maximum point of stretch, then surrender. Let your spine curve, bow your head. You can come back to your breath, back to your intention right here. And if it feels good, you can always bring your elbows to your calves or your inner thighs and apply some gentle downward pressure to open your hips a little more. But this should feel nice, so only do it if it feels good. Roll your way all the way back up to seated. Draw your left heel in and extend your right leg nice and long. Turn your heart toward your right foot. Inhale, create plenty of length. Exhale, fold forward over that right leg. Now your hands might land on your shin or your thigh. Maybe a couple you find your toes, whatever feels good here. Rest your fingertips and then inhale, create length. Exhale to fold over that right leg. Feeling that wave pattern in the spine. Inhaling, rolling out nice and long. Exhaling to soften. And then walk your hands back, rolling all the way up to seated. Let's switch it out. Right heel in, left leg extends long. Turn your heart toward that left foot. Create plenty of length. And exhale, fold forward. Remember, wherever your hands land is fine. Thigh, shin, toes. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale to soften. Inhaling, creating length. And exhaling, melting into that space you've created. And then gently walk your hands up. Roll your way all the way down onto your back and draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Let's massage our backs on the mat. Now, rocking from side to side feels great. You may also notice that it would feel good to come to center and then roll your knees around in a circle. So in my body, this feels amazing on my lower back. Depending on where you're experiencing back tension today, choose the pattern that feels best. So rolling back and forth tends to get more of the mid back. Rolling the knees around in a circle tends to get more of your lower back. Just choose one that feels really good and nurturing. And then come to stillness at the center. Open your arms out to either side, make a nice big T on the earth. Drop your knees off to your right hand side and turn your head to look to the left. So twisting is wonderful for back health. And we try to let the earth just support us in this twist. So no tension, relax your feet and your legs. Try to melt your left shoulder toward the mat. Inhale to center. Exhale to drop your knees off to the left and turn your head to look to the right. So same adjustments, right? We want our feet and our legs relaxed. We want to try to melt that right shoulder blade toward the earth. Just let the earth hold you. Inhale to come back to center. Now, if there is any additional movement, any stretch, anything at all you would like to feel, take a moment to honor that request right now. So that might be another twist, it might be a fold, might be a little time in happy baby, an inversion, whatever would feel great. That's what goes right here. So just choose something that helps your body in this moment. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana. Remembering, of course, that there are many options. So you can lie flat on your back with your heels wide. Let your toes fall out to either side, palms face the sky. If you notice that this feels a little weird on your lower back, a little uncomfortable, you can also bend your knees, leaving your feet the distance of the mat, and then drop your knees together at the center so that your bones are supporting each other and you can still relax without putting tension on your lower back. You are, of course, also welcome to take seated meditation or take Shavasana on your side, whatever helps you come to stillness. So find your comfortable space. Close your eyes and begin to consciously relax all of the places where your body is touching the earth. And let those spaces just become a little bit less distinct. Let them soften. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. And then simply let go and float. Allow your breath to create space within your body. Begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. Then exhale to draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Find your way all the way over onto your right side and curl into the posture of the sleeping child. You can cradle your head on your right arm if that would feel good. And just take a moment right here in the space that you have created to think of someone or something for whom you are grateful. And then whenever you are ready and you feel complete, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We'll close our practice this morning with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you. Let me come up and stop the recording.